All right, folks, welcome back to What's That Bass Wednesday. This is Thursday afternoon. We're going to give the answers to what we gave you yesterday. So let's just move right on into it. So our first fish right there, I'm going to first start by telling you where they came from, and then we're going to talk about what they are because they're all the same thing. So this fish came from Claytor Lake, Virginia, on the New River. This fish here came from Blue Ridge Lake in Georgia. And this fish here came from Fontana Reservoir in western North Carolina. And these are all the same thing. These are all hybrids between introduced Alabama bass and native smallmouth bass. You can see the head, classic smallmouth bass head in a lot of cases, smaller mouth. They have the streaks on their cheeks. They're kind of brownish in some ways, but not nearly as brown as they should be. And then their markings on the side is very different depending on the fish, but certainly not really truly the smallmouth bass. If you're not paying close attention, you'd think they were, but they're really not. The vertical barring is kind of more in a horizontal line like it would be in an Alabama bass. Alabama bass are native to the Mobile River Basin in Alabama, Georgia, a little tiny slice of Tennessee, and a little bit of Mississippi. But they have been widely stocked outside their native range by anglers trying to increase fishing opportunities. They're easy to catch, they're very aggressive, but what they've been doing is displacing native species. Some of the ones that live in the river systems, like the red eyes, shoal bass, a little more understandable that they might be vulnerable to this, but what we've really been surprised about is the effects that they're having in these reservoirs where they're displacing native bass like largemouth bass, which you would have thought was bulletproof, and smallmouth bass. And it's quite severe. I mean, Georgia has essentially lost all of its smallmouth bass in the state from hybridization from with introduced Alabama bass. And North Carolina is right now literally watching its smallmouth bass fisheries in the western part of the state go away. Tennessee is starting to see a lot more hybrids and a lot less smallmouth bass in its systems. And Virginia is really terrified about what might happen to some of their world-class smallmouth bass fisheries as this fish continues to get spread. It's found as far north now as West Virginia and the Potomac River, and the outlook is really not good. So don't move bass, folks. Look for another challenge next week and hopefully a story that's not quite so sad or dire. Have a nice week, folks.